What if one of the worst things that ever happened to you was not actually the worst thing? And what if one of the best things was not really the best either? There is a famous story often called the Taoist farmer story. You may also hear it as the farmer and the horse, or the old man on the frontier. It survives because it does something simple and unsettling. Every time you think you know what an event means, the story changes shape. That is why this little tale still feels modern. A rejection email, a missed train, a breakup, a delay, a bad week at work. We rush to call it disaster. Then months later, it becomes a turning point, or the opposite happens. Something we celebrate too quickly becomes the source of a new problem. This story is not about pretending pain is pleasant. It is about being careful with your verdicts. The version most people know today is often presented as a Taoist parable. The earliest known written form is usually traced to the Huainanzi, a Han-era Chinese text associated with Daoist thought. And the Daoist reading is clear enough. Reality changes, labels shift, and forcing a final judgment too early can make us less wise, not more. Here is the story. A man living near the frontier loses his horse. It runs away across the border. The neighbors come to comfort him. "This is terrible," they say. But the old man answers, "How do you know this is not a blessing?" Months later, the horse returns and brings another strong horse with it. Now the neighbors come to congratulate him. "What good fortune," they say. But the old man answers, "How do you know this is not a disaster?" Soon after, his son rides the new horse, falls and injures his leg badly. Again the neighbors come with sympathy. Again the old man says, "How do you know this is not a blessing?" At this point, the story starts to work on us. We think he is being mysterious, but really, he is refusing to pretend he can see the whole pattern from one moment. A year later, war reaches the frontier. Young men are called to fight. Many do not return. But because the son is injured, he is not sent into battle. The thing that looked like misfortune becomes the reason he survives. That is the end most retellings stop on, but the deeper point is not that bad things are secretly good. The deeper point is that life keeps moving. Fortune becomes misfortune. Misfortune becomes fortune. A moment is not the whole map. That is a very Taoist kind of wisdom. Not control everything. Not explain everything. Not force certainty where certainty does not exist. Just leave room for change. Think about a modern version. You do not get the job you wanted. You feel embarrassed, maybe even angry. Your mind instantly writes the story. I blew it. I am behind. Everyone else is moving faster than me. Then because of that rejection, you stay where you are a little longer. You meet someone important. You build a skill you would have skipped. A different opening appears. Or maybe nothing dramatic happens at all, but the rejection teaches you patience, steadiness, and a little less dependence on external approval. Of course, the story can reverse too. You get exactly what you wanted and discover it costs more than you expected. More stress, less sleep, less time, less peace. The Taoist insight is not passivity. It is humility in the face of unfolding consequences. So what do we do with this story? Try one small practice. When something happens today that feels obviously good or obviously bad, do not deny your feelings. Just delay the final label. Instead of saying this is a disaster, say this is difficult, and I do not yet know the whole meaning. Instead of saying this changes everything for the better, say this may be good news, and I still do not know the full shape of it. That tiny pause is where wisdom begins. The Taoist farmer story does not ask you to become detached from life. It asks you to stop acting like one moment is the final verdict on your life. Sometimes wisdom is not knowing what things mean. It is knowing how long to wait before deciding.